everybody. Just about ready to roll here. Might be a little bit of a shorter show today, and it's also partially the reason I got started a little bit late is it's just been a very exhausting time. I think I'm just sort of hitting that COVID wall, and yeah, just freaking tired. And I guess we might as well get that subject out of the way first. We're gonna talk the COVID stuff that's going down in Ontario right now. So thank you for tuning in. I am Jimmy Ruffian, and this is the Rough Report, broadcasting live from downtown Toronto. And yeah, recently we had Dougie talking again. But oh yeah, before we get into that, I wanted to talk about one other thing first. Today is a very special day, certain anniversary of the death of Margaret Thatcher, who was probably one of the most notoriously evil characters on the British right, and kind of world famous for being awful. Between just being straight up socially conservative, anti-feminist, and anti-gay, and anti-Irish, and to celebrate or acknowledge or whatever this moment in history. Let's see what this sweet Scottish grandma has to say.
Any good? Not a bit of good. Not a bit. I'd put a stake through her heart and garlic round her neck to make sure she never come back.
Isn't that a pretty horrible thing to say when her funeral's going on right now?
Too bad. Too bad.
Too bad. Love it. Just too bad. Yeah, because I'm sure that's what Thatcher would have thought in regards to a lot of the policies she put in place that harmed people. Too bad. So, you know, easy come, easy go like that, I guess, eh? So yeah, we got Dougie. Let's roll this video back a bit here. It's 45 minutes long. We're probably not going to go through the whole thing here. But as I always frequently like to say, well, not always, but especially recently, let's say, I like to say Doug Ford should resign for many reasons that he is awful, but most in particularly the awful way he has handled this pandemic. And it's because of his irresponsibility in failing to provide people with sick days and all sorts of other social safety nets that would have made getting through this exceedingly more expedient and tolerable. He's just chosen not to do that. And as we're going to see, he is not going to take any responsibility or accountability for that whatsoever. And he's going to continue basically being his greasy car salesman, used car salesman self.
Well, good afternoon. There's
up.
no doubt that this third wave has been different from anything we've faced so far. The risks are greater and the stakes are higher. And right now, we have a two-part strategy. First,
Just wanted to pause it there for a second. we've never faced anything like this before. What was his exact wording there?
The risks are greater from anything. Out that this third wave has been different from anything we've faced so far.
It's not entirely that different, Doug. The measures that we need to take to curb the spread of this thing have not changed. The threat is higher because of now more contagious variants going around. We got that. But other than that, the, kind of safety precautions of staying home, that hasn't changed. So
the risks are greater and the stakes are higher. And right now,
about that.
We have a two-part strategy. First, get needles into arms and limit mobility, limit the spread to protect our ICUs and hospitals. We need to get the vaccines where they will have the greatest impact as quickly as possible. Yesterday, we announced new details on how we're going to get more vaccines to hotspots right across the regions as quickly as possible. This will be critical to getting this third wave under control. We're moving into the next phase of our vaccine distribution strategy.
I'm not sure, commenter on Facebook there, what that even means. Measures we need to take: Texas, Florida, respect people's rights. Not sure what you're even talking about there. I have no idea what you're referring to. As far as I know, and to be honest, I haven't been keeping a close eye on Florida's COVID cases, but last I was aware, they're pretty bad. That's the last I heard. Mind you, that was some months back, but it was my understanding that Florida was pretty bad. That doesn't mean anything. I don't know what respect people's rights is. That's pretty apparent. Just an empty statement. Wait, are you the guy? Wait. I think I know who this is. You're the guy that called in before, aren't you? You're the guy I talked to on the phone on this show, and we had a little debate where it ended up being pretty embarrassing for you. If I remember that correctly, if you are indeed this same guy. The guy that believed in that terrain theory was the way that COVID was infecting people. Yeah. And mind you, if Florida's having 6,000 cases in a day, I mean, Ontario had 3,000 a day, I think is what we're averaging about. I don't know what. I feel like Florida is more populated, though, than Ontario, but I don't know if that the rate of spread is proportionate. He kept interrupting me. Anybody can go back and watch that episode, and I hope they do. It's all the more reason, because that was pretty embarrassing for you that you kind of ended up cowering. I'm sorry, but anyway, we could pretty much establish that this character here is an anti-science capitalist simp, and so he doesn't like my politics, but yet continues to comment on the show. So there's something here he enjoys. Apparently, it's within his rights to be able to spread COVID to whoever he likes and infect people and come up with outlandish conspiracy theories, all that good stuff. Hopefully I can point you to which episode it is, because it would have been, I feel like it was at some point in November of 2020. I feel like that's when that phone call took place. And, feel free to call back in anytime. We'd be glad to have you. Yeah, 3 to 5 viewers a week for a show that has no budget and marketing revenue of any kind. Feel relatively okay with that. I started this mostly just to disseminate information to my friends and for my own personal exercise. If it does anything beyond that, like get to troll random people like yourself, it's all right, I guess. Anyway, let's get back to Clown Shoes McGee over here. Well, other Clown Shoes McGee over here, and see what he's blabbering on about again.
As we speak, mobile vaccination teams are being organized.
Oh yeah. I wanted to see if I could find this here. Let me get this off the screen, because there was a breakdown on Twitter about this, a really good thread that I had retweeted. Let's see. I don't know how many days ago it was, so forgive me here. Okay. Well, basically, it was breaking down that, kind of the opposite of what Doug Ford is saying here, in that we're going to get the vaccines into these hot zones. And basically what it was showing was most of where the vaccines were going throughout places in like neighborhoods and postal codes in and around the GTA is that they were going just to the most white and affluent neighborhoods that didn't have much COVID problems, and more racialized neighborhoods where access to the safety measures that would have helped keep people safe were lacking. So it's hard to believe at this point that it is within Doug Ford's interest to do anything that he just said there. But on the plus side, I do have to admit, but then again, my neighborhood is not, I don't believe, particularly a hot zone. Although I myself do have to go to work every day, so I'm appreciative. But people in my postal code, 18 and up, apparently now can start booking for their vaccine. But again, the rate of what you're seeing that kind of attention get to at places like, Jane and Finch, and not in downtown Toronto where I am, is it's pretty sickening, really. So yeah, hopefully he actually is taking the advice of experts in this circumstance and putting those vaccines where they need to go.
To get vaccines to where they will have the greatest impact. We're deploying numerous mobile vaccine clinics in shelters, residential buildings, community centers, as well as churches, mosques, synagogues, temples, and other faith-based locations in the highest risk neighborhoods. This will include mobile vaccine clinics in high-risk workplaces that will remain open for the sake of our supply chain, starting with those in hotspot regions. As we bring these mobile clinics online,
Like that just sounds so like hotspot region, high risk places. It's like, what kind of places specifically are you talking about? Like, could you throw us a bone there? Give us an example. Do you have that?
vaccines will be eligible for people aged 18 years of age and over in the high-risk neighborhoods. Friends,
Like, I just
our
want to know how they're
frontline education workers
assessing high
are
risk.
absolute champions. And while our experts tell us that schools remain a safe space for students and workers, we want to do everything we can to keep them the same way. So beginning next week, workers who support students with special education needs across Ontario, as well as all education workers in high-risk neighborhoods in Toronto and Peel, will be
Wouldn't you say that anybody in a position where they have to go to school is high risk? I would say that's kind of inherent, right? Like, we're going to help the teachers in high risk neighborhoods. It's like, if you have a bunch of kids in a room together, that's just high risk. That's just what that is. That's how COVID spreads. You know, it's just everything with this guy throughout this entire thing. And unfortunately, obviously not an exclusive case to Ontario. That he's just not willing to take what is necessary in order to stop this spread. There are other countries and other parts of this world that nip this thing in the bud right off the hop, and we're able to continue functioning relatively normal a lot faster than other places. And it just goes to show the effectiveness of what those measures can do, and what happens when you have politicians who are just too scared and want to appease the economy and want to appease tinfoil hats, like our friend who is Canadian but spells his name in Cyrillic for some reason. You know, can't scare those people too much because, you know, they'll start freaking out, as you can see. So it's just cowardly. Experts know what needs to be done. People have been willing to do what needs to be done. So many of us, but because a lot of this has been half measure, it just keeps going back and forth, causing confusion amongst the population, where they're not sure what the rules are or how seriously to take them. Like, you have this guy telling you just, you know, days before this, or in the days before this, you know, oh, you shouldn't be going to those malls. But he's the one who decided to keep them open. It's pretty ridiculous. If this were a lefty talking in Ford's place, I would be criticizing that lefty, because if you you know, paid attention to the show at all, I do criticize people on the left when they fail to do the right thing. Justin Trudeau, not to say that he's left, he's center-right, but lefter than conservatives, I guess, has largely failed at this. And, you know, the way vaccines should have come into this country, I would say that is a failure on the Fed's part. And there was definitely more they should have and could have done. But as far as what is within control of Doug Ford, he has a much more obviously immediate grasp over power-wise over what could be done. He doesn't have a grasp intellectually, or if he does, he is just out and out ignoring it. Maybe a little of column A and column B. But, yeah. So it's just funny. I mean, yeah, I would agree with the take that conservatives and liberals largely both are playing for the same team in most respects. You're not going to get much argument from me on that point. Yeah, and apparently, like, I'm not sure. I remember reading this, but I can't quite remember off the numbers off the top of my head. If we have 1.5 million vaccines in storage, this stuff doesn't really last too long in storage, if I remember correctly. But I don't want to get too heavy on that point because, again, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, and then on the other point, I want to go to the side point because I think I've. No, you know what? I'll get to that in a minute. Let's listen to Dougie talking a little bit more.
Eligible for vaccines. And as the supply allows, we will expand to more high-risk neighborhoods in other hotspots, followed by a rollout to all education workers across the province. And as we ramp up our vaccine distribution, we also need to make sure we take the steps necessary to slow the spread of the virus and protect our ICU and hospital capacity.
He's kind of just like repeated a lot of the same stuff, I feel like, and he's only like not even 3 minutes in.
The reality is, despite everything we've done so far, the COVID-19 situation in Ontario is getting worse as these new variants continue to spread. Our hospitals are reaching capacity. And patients
you just said that
in the
a second ago.
GTA
Am I crazy?
must now be sent to other parts of the province for care. In fact, we learned yesterday morning that admissions to ICUs in the past week are increasing faster than the worst-case scenario predicted by our experts. My friends,
and yet you didn't
I'm hearing from more and more of our hospital CEOs about the situation in our hospitals and ICUs. I can't stress this enough. Things are extremely, extremely serious right now, and I'm extremely concerned. The situation is evolving.
He's now extremely concerned. Is that like moving into the gray zone, warning level, whatever weird color? I'm now extremely concerned, as opposed to before where I was semi-extremely concerned. I've now ticked the bar up to extreme. This is me, Doug Ford, being extreme right now. Like he doesn't seem extremely concerned.
Evolving rapidly, hour by hour. And as things change, as we learn more about these deadly new variants, as we see new problems arise, we need to adapt. We need to move quickly and decisively. And right now, above all else, our plan is to get needles into arms and protect our hospitals. That's why today, on the advice of the Chief Medical Officer of Health,
get a little more light there.
I'm declaring a state of emergency with a province-wide stay-at-home order effective 12:01 a.m. Thursday. This will be in effect for 4 weeks.
You know, like the experts predicted this would happen. The experts were telling them, like, if you try and open up back up again, this is how it's going to play out. And he ignored that. This is why we're at where we're at. And it's making people pretty stir crazy. Like I said, I'm hitting a bit of a wall myself. I understand that people are frustrated. Oh, great. We got another anti-vaxxer in the comment section. Beautiful. I love having you guys around. Extreme entertainment value. It's like flat earthers. There's just like, I don't know if you're like playing some sort of troll or not because it's so ridiculous, but it's kind of funny either way. It's demonstrative of, you know, the sort of easy self-indulgence that people are after, to feel like they're above something or part of something that's bigger than what the others understand, you know. Love having you guys around. And I love that you're you know, if I were to put it on a Venn diagram, a lot of people that are conservatives and a lot of people that are kind of like conspiratorial tinfoil hats, I would think that there's probably a fair amount of crossover on there, to put it gently. And so it's great to also see you guys just like thinking he's part of the conspiracy too. That's pretty funny.
With a few exceptions, the stay-at-home order will be similar to what we went through earlier this year. To boil it down as simple as possible, folks, please, unless it's for an essential reason, please stay home. Because the situation is extremely serious, and we just need to hunker down right now. We need to limit mobility. Non-essential retail stores will go back to curbside pickup with delivery allowed from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Big box and discount stores will be allowed to sell essential items only. I'm going to repeat that, essential items only, such as food, medicine, cleaning supplies, and personal care items.
Now, this is something that I think is a good idea. Is to, you know, it was definitely impacting, or it seemed disproportionate and unfair to people that were to businesses that were not large corporations, to have a fair shake in terms of being able to sell things, because Costco, by virtue of being able to sell groceries, and Walmart, by virtue of being able to sell groceries, was able to sell you know, your more non-essential items like televisions and computers and cell phones and various other electronics, without doing what a lot of other businesses who would operate in that vein did, and go to like curbside pickup and local delivery, which is, you know, what my day job did. And it obviously should have stayed that way. Everybody knows it should have stayed that way. Why playing with the rules and spreading confusion, and making it unclear to certain sectors of the population what is safe and what isn't, and fueling be careful. I don't know. Fueling this, I guess, that we're getting in the Facebook comment section. Yeah, I'm not anti-science. I'm saying be careful. Our commenter says, what does that mean? Be careful. The idea of being careful is to be vaccinated, and until you're vaccinated, stay home. That would be the being careful part, I would think. Yeah. Anyway, Yeah, he just he just kind of keeps repeating himself. It's really weird. It's like it's got like it's like stoned kindergarten teacher vibes or something. Not quite sure how to put that.
During a stay-at-home order, residential evictions will once again be suspended because no one should live in fear of losing their home.
You can just do that all the time. Like, just no one should be in fear of losing their home. End of that statement. Not during a pandemic, especially during a pandemic. Sure, I'll go with that. But yeah, we could just we can make that a thing all the time, Doug. Just make sure housing is a human right. Boom, done. We can, very doable. So close.
And these measures are in addition to the emergency brake shutdown we imposed last week. I know this is tough on businesses, but I promise we will continue to have your backs. In our 2021 budget, we
promise we'll continue to have your backs. Continue? If this is the kind of like, if this is the continuation of what we have been through so far, we're in a lot of trouble still. Jesus Christ. That is not reassuring. None of this is reassuring. And it's funny, like going back to the point about non-essential items, I'm starting to see this image being tossed around a lot from the R Toronto subreddit. First day of ban on non-essential items. Walmart has apparently decided masks are clothing, so thus are not essential. Yeah, apparently a rack of masks with caution tape around it, like you're not allowed to pick up the masks. Like, again, I get that people are angry, but it's just like, I bet there's a fair to medium chance that an employee just it could have made a mistake here and just wrapped that rack when they weren't supposed to. And even then, if you're coming into the store, you're probably wearing a mask. I mean, you have them. If you buy more, you should be able, like, if you want to buy more, you should be able to. But still, we're talking about overworked and underpaid employees trying to rush and do something on the fly. I'm sure mistakes and silly things are going to happen, but the way people are sharing these images of the non-essential items being kind of bordered off and wrapped up and freaking out that it's ridiculous. You can't buy these things. The idea is that you get your freaking essentials and you get the hell out of there and you go back home. That's what this is. That's the point. It's not ridiculous that you can't buy the non-essentials. And the thing is, you can still buy the non-essentials. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. You just have to call ahead or order online, and then you pick it up curbside or have it delivered. Easy. It's like you can still get the stuff. What are you freaking out about? People are wild, man. Like the fact that this is just kind of funny and silly to me. But the fact that people seem like legitimately upset by this and are like citing it as some sort of evidence that, all of this is a facade of some kind, and that it's just like, I don't know. It's but again, I totally respect that people are fed up. It's been massively confusing. I've said at the beginning of the show, and I've probably said it a couple times throughout this episode already, that I've kind of hit my brick wall with it, where emotionally and energy and all that stuff speaking is just like, it's really hard to take this. It really is. I sympathize, empathize. population culling world is wild. What does that even mean? This is the wildest tinfoil hat shit. I gotta say. Facebook comment section is lit today, y'all. Population culling. I like. There's a few different directions that can go. I'm just so excited to see what this brilliant individual has to say next. Oh, I'm sure he'll love the next subject. By the way, this is sure to be a hit. It's a crossover of a lot of my favorite things. We got Captain America and Marvel Comics. And one of the people I love making fun of the most, Jordan B. Peterson. Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. The doctor apparently doing just like a lot of labor there in his name, you know? Yeah, he's been, as you can see in the top right corner here, of the window. Some Red Skull action. Just had a feeling this was how it was going to go down when I was first kind of joking about this when it was new to the internet. Essentially what has happened, Ta-Nehisi Coates is a black leftist intellectual who is currently writing for Marvel Comics. And he has written on the academic level a fair bit. But, yeah, I was surprised to find he's writing Captain America books, apparently. Pretty cool. And recently, in an issue, he had... this is what... Oh, shoot. Is this... That's not the whole picture. That's not what I wanted. Anyway, he had... oh, I think this is it. Yeah, there it is. Now, obviously, like, Peterson's face wasn't actually in the shot in the comic. That was just something I found on the internet. But this is a shot from the comic here. The 10 Rules to Life, Chaos and Order, Carl Luger's Genius, The Feminist Trap. He's basically poking fun at the cult mentality that circles around the right-wing figures like Jordan B. Peterson, who kind of is looking to, save the Lost Boys, be daddy, and help them find a path again and a purpose in life, and reclaim themselves and all that sort of fluffy nonsense. A lot of what he says isn't entirely awful. It's just the things that aren't awful are entirely obvious and have already been said dozens of times by and unpacked by much more talented people. And but then everything around that is sort of this pseudo-fascistic preying on weak young men sort of stuff. So, and that's exactly what the comic book gets into. There's a shot where Captain America, I think that was maybe the picture I had up here. Yeah. It's the same for all of them. Young men, weak, looking for purpose. I found the flag. You found the badge. They found the skull. He tells them what they've always longed to hear, that they are secretly great, that the whole world is against them, and if they're truly men, they'll fight back. And bingo, that's their purpose, that's what they live for, and that's what they die for. It's a really great satire on the dangers and manipulation that takes place by right-wing figures like Jordan Peterson. And naturally, as soon as you saw him tweeting about this, and that shot that I just showed there was him going, do I really live in his pinned tweet at the top of his page, he kept it there for like a while, was this shot from the comic. and going, do I really live in a reality where Ta-Nehisi Coates is, trying to parody my philosophy through the Red Skull or whatever? And you could just, like, anyone who's kind of watched these grifters grift for as even half as long as I have, can see where this is going to go. The fans are going to embrace it. The fans are going to turn it into a fun joke for that they can now be on the inside on. And hilariously, what's great about the troll on Ta-Nehisi Coates' part, even writing this, is probably a level of awareness that this is exactly what they were going to do, and essentially be a parody of themselves, where they'll lean into this Red Skull thing. I was joking, it's like, oh, should we call the Lobster Boys Hydra from now on? And then naturally, Jordan Peterson is sharing this image that was like sent to him by fans. He's now inside the joke. He's embracing it. He's not afraid to ally himself with the fascist imagery, because that's always what it's been. It's like it's just coded under this like sort of level of pseudo irony, right? But you knew this is exactly where it was going to go. You try and pin like something like this, and they're going to go, oh yeah, well, I'll show you. I'm so edgy. I'm going to run with this. And it's like, yeah, we know you're predictable as hell. It's amazing stuff. I really yeah, now it's just like, yeah, this is the stuff he's sharing and like memeing about, and he's like, it's the same sort of play that Elon Musk goes for, right? He goes on Reddit to find the fresh memes and joke and be on the same level as the 4chan memeing internet, and scrapes up relevancy through that. This is like doing this and embracing this the way Jordan Peterson has is the only attention he's gotten in the longest time since he got off his weird benzo bender. And was in a coma in Russia and all that crazy nonsense. This is the first time I think anybody's really talked about him, which is hilarious because, like, I don't know. Is this going to be an effective way for Jordan Peterson to re-enter the marketplace of ideas? Is the incel 4chan-esque, super edgy, post-ironic crowd going to carry this? Or is it just going to die out like so many other attempts at this sort of thing? I don't know. If it carries on, I'll certainly have something to talk about at least. There's that. At least have something to talk about. He never answered the population culling question, did he? So disappointed. Yeah, so amazing stuff. I even had like a weird image in my head. It's like, I wonder if they're going to do that. I wonder if somebody's going to make this symbol. That would be funny, and here it is. So yeah, of course, he's taken the ball and run with it. It's just all so predictable of these grifters and the way they like to operate. I don't know if I had anything else going there. Here, let me see. That might have been all the stories I wanted to talk about. But big props to Ta-Nehisi Coates for making a really apt satire. Yeah, I think that's pretty bang on. And just another great example of why I love Marvel Comics and a lot of the work that they do, because they are able to play around with these ideas through their characters. I think that can be a very useful thing for a lot of us. And yeah, I think that's basically my show for today, unless anybody else has any questions or things they want to bring up. I don't know. Got about, otherwise I'd be just ducking out about 13 minutes earlier than I normally do. Theme music's coming on. So if you're watching on Twitch, thank you. I'm pretty new to Twitch. I actually just realized the other day how you save Twitch, like you keep your stream on there for a number of days following the live broadcast. And I was like, how come none of my videos are here? This is confusing. I thought it automatically did that, kind of the way YouTube does, but evidently not. So I found that out. So this episode is going to be available on Twitch for up to 14 days, I think, after this broadcast. But as always, you can always check out this stuff on the Rough Go page on Facebook. It's getting used to the mirroring thing. I'm so uncoordinated all of a sudden. The Rough Go right there, and then Rough Go on Twitter, Insta. You can find the music, not the podcast, on Spotify. Gotta get used to doing that. It's like, my instincts are still telling me to do that. So yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Your best way to support this show is to like, subscribe, share, engage, comment. Impressions are big with the social media algorithm people. So I appreciate everybody tuning in and sticking around, and I'm glad I got into a bit of an energetic stride there, because when I was first coming onto this broadcast, I was like, oh my God, I'm tired. I don't know how I'm going to do it today, but with your help and your engagement, we did it together. So again, thank you for that. And yeah. Till next time, there was one subject from the previous show that I didn't think I got to talk about as much as I wanted to, and that had to do with Amazon and the union busting stuff. I didn't get to touch on that, so I probably will on the next episode. And until next time, thank you so much for watching The Rough Report. Again, if you are just tuning in and missing the tail end of this broadcast, it is going to be available after the feed ends. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night.